Bro, university is so expensive and we need to talk about it because it's no longer just living expenses you need to budget for. Now it feels like getting good grades is something you have to budget. Everyone I know has a ChatGPT subscription. Half of my course dropped like $1,000 on iPads and keyboards. And every other day, some random app on my social media is telling me that it's gonna revolutionize my learning for just $9.99 a month. And look, I get it. Everyone out here is trying to get their internship, land grad schemes, and stand out in their CV. And when you see all your classmates buying all these devices and tech, it genuinely feels like you're falling behind if you don't keep up. So in this video, I want to find out if it's genuinely worth spending hundreds or even thousands of pounds on stuff that's meant to make you better as a student. Because I've definitely fallen for it myself, and I think it's time we have an honest conversation about that. Oof. I just worked out how much I spent on my university, and it's... For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mateo. I'm a mechanical engineering student at the University of Bath, and I know a couple things or two about being competitive at a top university. People are spending more than ever on things that'll make getting top grades as easy as possible. Laptops are getting more expensive, note-taking is digitized, Apple and Windows are selling organization with the promise of making your studies that much better. And because of that, students feel pressured to buy these expensive tools because everyone around them has them too, and it's making it seem like they're even more competitive. If you're a uni student right now, I'm sure you don't want to fall behind, and it feels like buying these tools is what you have to do to be able to catch up. I remember in my first year of uni, I had to buy a monitor, a laptop, and a tablet just way too fast, and I didn't take the time to think about how much of a difference it was making for me academically. These companies are selling the idea of you being able to buy good grades. The base iPad started like what, £340, but no one ever buys the base. They always push you up that ladder of thinking that, oh, maybe I need the one with the better pencil, then oh, I actually need more storage. And you need to spend more to get a bigger screen. And then next thing you're at £1,300 with a monstrous iPad using GoodNotes. And it's insane because most students are just falling for it and spending $1,000 on something that £300 can easily do. I nearly spent like $2,000 on a laptop that I was only going to be using for simple CAD. Thank goodness though, I spent about 900 quid on my laptop, and it's been working really fine. I know some people that have spent £500 or even less on their laptop for doing engineering work, and they find it amazing. To be honest with you, I have had my problems with my laptop, but it's not significant enough to the point where you tell yourself, oh, it's worth the investment to spend 3 times the money on something that you might not even use consistently after 5 years. Looking at it, after 5 years, you're probably going to want to get a new laptop regardless. So what's the point in spending that much on something that's not even going to handle crazy demanding tasks? Next thing is the apps. All that the distraction-free apps are doing is selling you focus. They're making you think that you can't just switch off your phone and put it in and leave it behind in your backpack. No, you need an app with a premium subscription to be able to make yourself less distracted. Or even the AI tools like ChatGPT+. In my course, most people had the premium subscription option during their times with exams because they felt like if they didn't have that premium AI, then they'd be losing marks in the exam. And I do see the benefit in having AI tools for education, but I don't think it's worth making a premium subscription an essential. The new thing that's being sold to us now is influencer products. Instagram influencers, TikTok influencers are selling you the study template, making it seem as if that's the one that's actually gonna get you the 90% or the 80%. Everyone here is trying to take your money and make it seem as if your grades are worth that investment. If we actually look at the cost of it all, you could end up spending thousands of pounds on probably getting 5-10% better at that after you've met the basic needs. And looking at the charts, the cost of living is only getting more and more expensive. I think I remember reading a graph which was like costs have gone up over 40% for university students in the past 10 years. And it's only going up from here. So is it really worth giving your hard-earned money into something like an AI subscription when your rent could be almost a third of the price more by the time you have to graduate? I'd recommend having a look at this article because it really shows you where our money is going and where we could be headed to in the upcoming years. So at this point, I'm looking at all this data and I'm starting to wonder, does this actually translate to getting better grades? If I spend £1,300 on an iPad instead of the $329, Am I actually going to get better marks? And then that's when I realized something. It's the law of diminishing returns. At first, it just thought of, you just buy a laptop. But these companies are convincing you that you actually need a device which is future proof, but it's 10 times more capable of doing the job that you actually need. Let's say you spend an extra £1,000 on an iPad, an AI premium subscription, and some fancy productivity apps. Does that get you better grades? Now, instead of that, imagine you just went to the library, sat down, and study every single day instead of just skimming through. Which one do you think will actually make a difference for you? The truth is, you just have to give in the hours that need to be done. And I know that's not the sexy answer that everyone wants to hear, but it's the truth. And if you're nodding your head right now, do me a favor, hit that like button and drop a comment telling me which expensive thing you almost bought or which one you did buy and regret. Let's all learn from each other's mistakes, because the more people that actually see this video, the fewer the students are going to waste their money on stuff they actually just don't need. Here's the thing. I'm not going to just leave you with work harder. I've actually got a simple rule which has saved me over £1,000, and I want to share it with you today. It's called the 3-week stroke 3-month rule. For cheaper stuff like subscriptions and softwares and all that type of stuff, try the free version if you can for 3 weeks. And if you feel like you're genuinely missing something, pay for the premium option. But here's the thing, before you start using the premium option, cancel right after the first payment, so that you just use the premium option for 1 month and 1 month only. And when you get notified that your premium option is gonna expire, wait again, use the free version again for another week. That way you don't have to think, oh, I might as well just keep the premium subscription because it's a rolling expense. You're gonna be intentional with what you're spending your money on. Now, for bigger expenses like a monitor, tech, and devices which are realistically over £100 or so, I want you to wait at least 3 months for you to actually use them. I know in university 3 months sounds like no time at all, and trust me, it is, but it's going to save you so much money in the long term. That way you won't be buying expensive devices thinking that you can't make it through the end of the semester. And I wish I started using this rule sooner, because I ended up paying for AI subscriptions for months at a time before cancelling, because I was like, oh, it's already there, I might as well just not cancel it. It would have saved me that thought of thinking that I actually needed all these expensive devices when I don't. You're going to make it through university without needing to spend thousands of pounds on your devices. It's just not worth it, trust me. The truth is, you don't need an iPad to get good grades. What you need is time, effort, and consistency. That's actually what's going to move the needle to get you there. And if I had to start university again tomorrow, here's exactly what I buy. If I wasn't doing STEM, I'd buy a base MacBook Air or Windows laptop at least under £1,000. I'd buy a tablet only if I was doing a STEM course, just because it's easier to draw graphs and stuff on it. However, pen and paper is perfectly fine. If you don't use a tablet, you're gonna be perfectly fine. You just have to be able to manage your organization a bit better. And trust me, it's only that a bit better. It's not significant like what you're being sold. I'd use free apps like Anki, Notion, and Canva. The free versions only are what will help you, especially with practicing spaced repetition and self-testing. And Canva, you can use that one for presentations. And I'd only pay for AI software when necessary, and I mean at most a month or 2 per year, because that's all you really need it to. The point of your degree is to learn and to understand the material so you can apply it when you leave. It's not just about being in there to just get good grades and see if you can get that internship. The companies that are going to hire you are going to hire you because you're genuinely interested in what you're learning and what you're doing. They're not going to just hire you because you seem as if you'll be a good employee. And your AI can't take that interview for you. Ask yourself if the material that you're buying is genuinely making you better at what you're learning, or it's making you feel productive while you're procrastinating. University is expensive, we all know that, but getting good grades doesn't have to be. You don't need £1,300 on an iPad. You don't need 5 different productivity apps that you're paying the premium subscription for. You don't need the latest MacBook Pro with specs you'll never use. What you need is to show up, put in the hours, and stay consistent. And I hope this video helped you feel better about your setup. And if it did, let me know in the comments which of these things you've actually bought and which of these things you're gonna avoid now that you know. I genuinely love to know I'm not the only one that's actually fallen for this stuff. Alright, I'll see you in the next one in a bit.